Joining me now is former Nassau County Executive Laura Curran and host of the Guy Benson Show and Fox News contributor Guy Benson. Thanks for you both for joining us. Guy Benson, let me start with you. How on earth does California, a rich and prosperous state with plentiful resources, how does it find itself facing power outages and in an energy crisis, it seems, every couple of years?
The government and regulation and environmentalism and an extreme ideology. That's sort of the short answer. And it's interesting just to see the juxtaposition in the span of about 1 week where California with great fanfare announces that they're going to start banning gas-fueled cars within the next, 10, 15 years. And then days later, they're forced to tell people who already have electric vehicles, don't charge them, because we can't afford to do that with the energy situation right now. And I joked, I was on the news channel a few days ago, I said sometimes we're paid to make points, but occasionally the points make themselves. And in this case, the point is making itself. And one other question I would ask to broaden it out to the country, the Biden administration and the energy secretary has said very explicitly, Jennifer Granholm, a few times in recent months, that California is the way forward. They are the model for the country when it comes to the future of energy. Now we're seeing what's happening in that state, and I wonder how she would grapple with that. Does she wish to amend her comments or her predictions, perhaps?
Laura Curran, the United States was a few years ago energy self-sufficient. It does seem like the Democrats came in, decided to conduct their war on oil and gas and fossil fuels, and surprise, surprise, we now find ourselves facing soaring energy prices, shortages, crises, blackouts, like the kind that we're getting in California. See a connection between those two things?
You know, it's interesting because this whole thing that's happening in California shines a really stark light on the fact that you can't just flick a switch and go green. The infrastructure takes a long time. There really has to be a lot of transition. And I think, regular people out there, they understand that green's important. They generally know that we got to get there at some point. But the people who are in charge right now have to make sure that they have really good operational people to make sure that we can make this transition. California is shutting down natural gas plants, fine, but then when you have a crisis with fires, with drought, with this heat wave, and energy demand spike, and then, as Guy says, you have this strange thing where, get electric vehicles, but don't charge them right now. You can't just be political about it. You've got to think operationally as well.
Laura, so isn't it these green policies, though, that is creating this problem, that we're not ready yet to move to an era of complete renewable energy? And so in the meantime, we should be doing more with the fuels that we do have available.
I can't say I disagree with you. You have to move, in my opinion, towards being carbon neutral, towards being green. But the transition takes time. It can take decades, and you have to be very intentional how you do it. Don't think about it politically, think about it operationally. And unfortunately, right now, government is so political and not operational enough.